been sentenced to 12 years in prison. And that he was the one that murdered Rebecca. And we just cried. It makes me angry. It makes me hate it.
Woo! Yeah. Woo! Whoa. Oh, look. Ah! Oh. Woo! Wow!
No. I know what he did to Rebecca. I know. And I don't want to watch it. I don't. Sorry, I don't. I know what he did. He walked into her trailer and hit her on the head with a mallet, and he had sex with her dead body, and he threw it in the ditch. And yeah, I've been there. It's not a good place for me. I'm sorry. What he did to her is unforgivable. When I turned on the news, I saw Chad. Confessing to the murder of Rebecca. I remember feeling anger.
To get it with you. Hi, I'm like to get it with you. Hi, I'm like play a game with you. What's your name? Get with you.
I just couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
What's your name? What's your name?
Everybody was shocked.
In with
It's
you.
evil that does that.
What's your name? Yes, Georgia. Name. Yes. Georgia, Mom, Daddy's come here.
John was convicted of murder.
Okay.
And
fine. I'm
56 years in prison. He deserved a lot more than that. He deserved. He deserves to have it. You want to look at this picture? I see John White, a serial killer. This isn't my brother. I always gave him the benefit of the doubt. I couldn't imagine the things that he had done. for me to talk about John and to talk about what he has done was sort of a weight off my shoulders. It's a picture of Rebecca. It hurts my. It breaks. This is a letter that I received after John was in jail for the murder of Rebecca. Dear Chrissy, I want to tell you how much I miss you. I love you dearly, Chrissy. And I do understand how pissed off at me you must be. I know what a disappointment I am to so many people, and I'm so sorry. That's the first time I've heard John ever say that, and I don't believe it. I feel that he's sorry that he got caught. Not that he's truly sorry. I'm hoping someday we can talk. Maybe tell you what really happened. He's just telling another story. And he wants to talk to me because he wants to try to get me to believe that what he did, there was a reason for it.
Animal.
But there was not
They're
a story
tangent.
he could tell me
You
to make it sound like it was somebody
Was
else's fault. But I never answered. I didn't want to answer. John called me every day, sometimes twice a day. But I never accepted any of the calls. Nobody was in John's corner anymore. I was there for him. He was family. I backed him. I believed in him. I had to admit that I was wrong to myself and realize that there was a dark, evil side to John that I see now versus I couldn't see then. Telling my story has been emotionally exhausting, but it's also a relief. This whole experience has helped me more than what you realize because I can talk about it versus just keeping it all in. He very much betrayed me. And it's bad. I just knew what it was. I just knew before I even picked up that phone or answered the officer proceeded to tell me that John had committed suicide. He had hung himself. The brother I knew and loved had died a long time ago. So I did cry for him, but I had the word to detach myself from him. He was no longer the John I knew. I remember thinking that in hell is where he deserves to be. That was the only way to kill the evil. John had a great life. He had a great childhood. But somehow, somewhere,
Okay, Brennan.
he let evil
He's
in.
your first. My God. Good luck. And
You can't pick your family members. I had the best mom in the world, but then I also had the worst dad. You don't want to believe that your dad's a monster. At the time, you're just like, okay, he's my dad. Yeah, he's a criminal, but you realize it's worse than you even thought it ever could. Chameleon. Inside, I'm thinking, you smug son of a bitch. How can you smirk like that when you know what you did? This is my mom. It says, Love, Mary Lou, 1962. This probably was her senior year. She's got the bouffant hairdo, which was all the rage back in those days. I remember she had really brown eyes and beautiful face. I remember she was a very loving mom and worshipped us kids. We were her whole world. She had met my dad when she was about 17 or 18. I think she was still in high school. I describe my father as someone who's very manipulative. You could use the word charming, almost like a Ted Bundy type. He would put on this act, this charming act. And a lot of people did fall for that. And fortunately for my mom, she was one of them. I felt really close to my mom. I was probably about 3 or 4 years old when I have my most vivid memories about my mother. She was always playing music and cooking, baking cookies and stuff for us. When I was about 4 years old, September of 1968, all I knew was that she was gone.
Fifth and final
And
argument.
it's just weird that she would she would never do that. She would never just leave her kids and disappear.
There is the last final.
This is
Now
my
we're doing
mom's
repair the
missing
fourth
persons
argument.
report.
It's for final
1968,
argument. Go.
right after she disappeared. So this was filed by my uncle, her little brother. The husband, Dwayne Boston, stated that he took the missing person to the area of Del Paso Boulevard and El Camino Avenue approximately 1.5 weeks ago and dropped her off. She has not been seen or heard from since. My uncle stated that she could not stand to be away from her children for any period of time. The husband has shown very little concern or regard for her absence. The husband possessed a 22 caliber rifle with a scope mounted on it. He stated since her disappearance, the gun is gone and he has not seen it since. My dad told me at the time that she just left.
Their
We would
tensions.
constantly ask, where is mom? What happened? Where is she?
He
He would change the
was
subject
my
or say, I told you, she ran off. I don't
The-
know.
and
So, answer your questions.
and
It's like your heart has been ripped out. You have this void, in your life. It's hard to describe. A wound that never heals for your whole life, your mother. It's always there. The sense of comfort and security, and that's gone overnight. I didn't know the whole scope of everything. But as a 4-year-old, I knew something was wrong and something was twisted.
Tangent. It
After her
was
disappearance,
my
I remember
dad.
mostly being with my grandmother.
uh,
Dad would get tired of us and fling us off onto his mom, my grandmother. One time, the conversation was around Christmas.
was
I think I was about 6 years old. We were talking about
Sick.
Santa Claus.
And
I wonder what's
we're down to
Santa's gonna
see
bring this year. And then Grandma said, "Oh, you know what? You kids, I'm not gonna lie to you. There is no Santa Claus.
Well,
And also, I've been lying to you about your mom. She's never coming home."
their tangent.
And we're like,
It
"Why?"
was my
"Because your dad killed her.
and
She told us
and
your dad came to me in September of 16
was on
and said
the
I had to kill
sea.
Mary. I buried her where they'll never find her in a million years."
On the sea.
And he said, "Out of all the people that I've killed, she's the only one I regret murdering." She said, "Why?" I said, "Well, she was going to divorce me and I didn't want to lose the kids." She didn't like it, but she told us kids to not talk about it. You tell
They're
anybody, the authorities, you're going to be orphans. You're not going to have a father. You already lost your mom. But the horrible parts of the story are still vivid. She did say that he shot my mom in the back of the head and she was running. He said, "Run, bitch, run." She cried. She was crying. "What about the kids? What about the babies, Dwayne? What about the kids?" That you got me. Sorry. That was her last thought. Not about herself, about us kids. This is my dad, circa 1968. Time he shot my mom. And he's got his .22 caliber, one of his favorite rifles. And he was deadly accurate. He loved to shoot all the time. He was always taking my mom out. This is one of his favorite spots. This may have very well been the same rifle that he used to kill my mom. This was the same year. Could be the same rifle and maybe the same location. This might have been the very last thing that she saw before he killed her. This picture gives me the creeps. It disgusts me to look at that photograph.
There might be people watching that will say, "I still don't understand why you didn't go to the police yourself."
That's not real. That's not real life. We thought about a chain of events that would happen. We don't have a body. All he's going to do is say, "No, she ran off." I told you guys back in 1968. Snitches, in his mind, don't deserve to live. And if you snitch on him, you're as good as dead. And you're a child and you're going to put that target on your back? You just got to suck it up. You know that you're dealing with a homicidal monster at that point. He's capable of killing you at the drop of a hat. Imagine living with a person that killed your parent, and you have to stay there until you're old enough to get out.
This is the greatest thing I ever done in my life. We've been waiting for this day for so long.
It's the season of love. The original love story, 90 Day Fiancé, now streaming on Discovery Plus.
A day in the life of being Silas Dwayne Boston's son. Every day was different, depending on his mood. It's like the weather, you never knew what to expect. We were just little kids. I bet he would terrorize us psychologically. Sometimes I think it leaves deeper scars. Certain things stay with you for life. I remember my dad being really attracted to gory things. He was an EMT. He actually did something at that point, which was legitimate and helping people. But he kept this scrapbook when he was an EMT. And the coroner would take pictures, I guess. These old black and whites of people that had died in horrible ways. And I remember particularly this one old guy had hung himself in his backyard. And his eyes were bulging out, his tongue was out.
Look at his face.
He enjoyed looking at stuff like that. Dad was really proud of showing these pictures, like old trophies. He reminded me of like a kid that wants to show you his piggy bank and how many coins he's collected, or maybe some bugs that he has. It's very fascinating to him. You know, it's like I don't want to see anymore.